So over the course of the last week, we've had a pretty significant strobilation event. Strobilation is the process where the Ephyra buds away asexually from the polyp itself and becomes a free-swimming Ephyra or a small baby jellyfish. We've got 4 tanks here set up, Ephyra tanks, to accept those little free-swimming Ephyras, and 2 of them are still retaining majority of those Ephyra, but 2 of them are having some odd little issues, and it certainly seems to be water flow related. We've been running these little tiny handmade spray bars that I make by using some rigid tube and putting a bend at the end and then drilling them out so it becomes a little flute or spray bar, but I don't think this is adequate enough, and on our newer designs we've actually gone to something a little more substantial. It's a spray bar made by a canister filter company. I have to drill a couple more holes in there, but that in combination with a barbed elbow allows me to make for a freer flow of water unrestricted through this little spray bar. And I think that might be part of our problem here in these 2 tanks, where the flow is just not appropriate enough to keep everything suspended. We've also got an issue with the debris or uneaten fish food that I believe is ultimately going to end up causing a problem in regards to what's referred to as fouling agents, things that cause a decline in water quality and in turn a decline in the jellyfish. So today what I need to do is go ahead and drill out some holes to accept this newer spray bar. The newer design tanks already have those holes already large, but these are before I came out with that idea. So I need to take and drill these out. It's a little risky trying to drill something that's already in place. Risky in the sense that if you make a mistake, it could crack the tank, and of course now it would become useless. So we're going to go ahead and drill out a couple of holes to accept the bigger spray bar. We're going to install those spray bars, and then I need to go through and do a quick little water change by vacuuming a lot of debris off the bottom of the tank. So come on, let's get to work. One of the tricks when drilling into an acrylic tank or acrylic material is to use a sharp, pointed bit. The pointier, the better. We stopped yesterday and picked up a new set of drill bits. This is a brand new 1/2-inch drill bit. It's really a metal drill bit, but it does have the greatest point on there that I could find. Now at this time, if I had a grinder, I might be able to go in there and grind a little sharper peak, but this is what I've got to work with at the moment. So let's go ahead and try it.
So we'll go ahead and make our first attempt. I might want to remind you that you always want to have the right tools and you always want to have the right understanding. If you don't feel good about it, don't do it. Find someone else who does.
And there we've got a problem already. Our battery obviously is low because it's not getting very good speed on it, and I don't want to drill this with a low speed drill. So let's go pop this back in the charger and finish that in just a second. While we're waiting for that battery on the drill to charge up, we can go through and take our siphon hose, our little airline siphon hose, and go through and try to siphon out some of that debris off the bottom of the tank.
It's that debris that contains those fouling agents, those things that I never really were able to put a finger on, but knew that the debris sitting at the bottom of those tanks was creating an environment that was negative towards the jellyfish. It was also compounded by the fact that I was not making a very worthy attempt the first time. This time around, we are going to make a significant attempt at keeping the bottoms of the tank clean. Here we're using that airline siphon to gently draw the loose debris off the bottom of these Ephyra or small tumbling tanks. We are siphoning this water down into a 5-gallon bucket, where at a later time we'll go through and pick out the polyps that we've actually sucked out of the system. But as with little boys, you always have to pay attention because you sometimes forget where you're shooting the water to.
Here at the bottom end of our jellyfish breeding system, we've got this large 100-gallon tumbler or added reservoir. What it does is it offers some additional volume into our system. a number of people have written in the past, asked me about small saltwater tanks, and my usual response is the fact that I was taught never to try anything less than 55 or 60 gallons in salt water, because anything less is obviously a smaller amount or a smaller volume, and without any volume there's no real stability. So I've got this large 100-gallon system hooked up as part of the breeding system, again to add some capacity to the system. The downside is this large tumbler tank being at the bottom of the system will also tend to collect some debris settling in the bottom of it as well. The upside is, as I grow those jellyfish, I've got a place to move them to. The point is that I want to go through and also siphon the debris that collects in the bottom of this tank, because that debris is going to have an effect on the little breeding tanks or ephyra tanks as well. So I've got this siphon hose. It's kind of low to the ground, but I know we can create a siphon because the bucket is at a lower level than we're actually starting to siphon into. Hello, my name's Jim Stime. I'm with MyFishTank.com. I'd like to take and show you the advantages of a Clear for Life acrylic aquarium. Most glass tank manufacturers use a standard type of glass which has a tint to it, and as the thickness of the glass increases, you begin to get that green tint to the glass. Acrylic material, no matter how thick it is clearer than glass.
Reef Hobbyist magazine believes that our hobby, our fellow hobbyists, and the animals in our care are best served by the free distribution of quality information. Reef Hobbyist magazine provides hobbyists with critical husbandry information with an emphasis on marine ornamental breeding efforts. Reef Hobbyist magazine is available for free in local fish stores across the country, or you can subscribe at www.reefhobbyistmagazine.com.
So there we've got 5 gallons of water we've siphoned off the bottom. We've also got a partial 5-gallon bucket of stuff we siphoned out of the little ephyra tanks. Now obviously we've probably siphoned up some polyps and probably some ephyra. So we're going to set these tanks or these buckets off to the side for a little bit, and things will settle in there. The non-animated things will settle at the bottom. The living things, or the ephyra, which is what we're interested in, will begin to pulse around, and we can, with a pair of glasses and a flashlight and a turkey baster, go and siphon or suck those out of the buckets, return them back to the breeding tanks. So let's let that battery charge up just a little bit longer in the drill, and then we want to go up and drill out those holes up there and hopefully not crack the tanks in the process of doing so. So let's go ahead and try that drill once again.
Well, it certainly appears as though the battery-operated drill is not the tool of choice. We'll have to go get the big electrical power drill out of the van and use a man-sized tool for this particular job. So make it a point to come on back for part 4 so we can see if we can drill this hole completely without breaking the tank.